It's alright, James, I'm going to unbox you in a minute. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm going to be unboxing James today. James has been in my garage for about 2 years, I think, and as I was tidying up the garage recently, I saw James and heard this whimpering sound saying, "Let me out, let me out." Yes, James, I've had you a long time. It's time now to open you finally and show you to the YouTube viewers. This is James. As I said, this is the poor relation of Henry. We all know about Henry and Hetty, but James hardly ever gets a look in, so it's time to give James a bit of the limelight. Let's unbox him and take a closer look. Wow, they do use some strong glue at that Numatic factory. Ah, there we are. James is probably the cheapest way to own a pneumatic cleaner, unless you can find a Henry or Hetty on offer. And James is also the lightest. Crikey! Wow! I'm going to have a lie down after all that exertion. Right then, folks. Now I assume, even though this James, I've had this one for about 2 years, this is the James you can buy now. So if you go to myhenry.com or other places online where you can find a James, there he is. It should be just the same as the one I'm showing you. He is model JVP 180. And there's the instruction. I've shown you a James before, but it was the previous version in a yellow colour. This is the new blue version with a couple of little tweaks. So here's the instruction book. Typical pneumatic fare, mainly pictures. He's a fairly simple chap, is James. He shouldn't really need to refer to the manual very often, but there it is in case you do. Let's take out James's wands. These are a lighter wand than supplied with a Henry or Hetty. I think these are aluminium or aluminum. How do the Americans pronounce aluminium? Aluminum or something, I don't know, I've forgotten. Anyway, it's aluminium. I think these are aluminium instead of chrome. So they are a bit lighter. And James, as a cleaner himself, is lighter, all told. So if you want something lighter to use, then James could be your man. Just going to have to get a pair of scissors to open this mystery bag. Well, it shouldn't be a mystery to any of you who have watched my channel for a while, because I've unboxed a lot of pneumatic cleaners, and you'll find a playlist on my channel if you want to check those out. So I'm assuming James will come with all the regular tools that a standard Henry or Hetty comes with. So first of all, we've got the adapter that enables you to put any of the tools directly onto the end of the hose without using the curved handle. We have a nice length crevice tool for your nooks and crannies, down the sides of your appliances in your kitchen, down the sides of your chair for the biscuit crumbs, inside the car, very useful. Then we've got this brush attachment that fits on to this upholstery nozzle. You can use it on your upholstery, your stairs, again car interiors, curtains. So it's a basic suction nozzle like that, or you can slide on the brush, which is sort of medium stiff brushes, so it's not really a dusting brush, but it is quite useful for agitating, say, dried in mud or stubborn area of dirt. You can give it a bit of a rub to help loosen it. So that's your upholstery or all-purpose nozzle. And finally, in the small tools, we've got this dusting brush. That's good for your Venetian blinds, your pelmets, shelving, any other hard surface you want to give a dust. You can use that. This is the curved wand that incorporates the suction control. So you've got a plus and minus. So on plus, it gives you the full suction, and if you turn it to the minus, you get reduced suction, which is useful for certain types of carpet. Here's the nozzle. So it still comes with this. I'm not sure if the previous James had a different nozzle to the Henrys, but this is the standard nozzle that's supplied with many domestic pneumatic cleaners now. So it's plastic base plate, you've got litter pickers, you've also got a foot operated pedal, and when you press that down, a brush lowers for your hard floors and a squeegee lowers at the back as well. And you've got two wheels, it moves up and down and of course swivels from side to side. You've also got a little bracket here that you use on the parking slot on the back of James. I'm assuming James has one, I'm pretty sure he does. So there we go, that's a standard carpet and hard floor nozzle. Then we have the conical hose, so it's wider at the cleaner end than it is at the handle end. And this is the handle. So they swivel both ways, so it swivels when it's in the cleaner and it swivels here. So for confined spaces, for example inside the car, you can connect the tools directly to the end of the hose. But for normal use inside the home for cleaning your carpets and floors, you would normally attach the curved wand, and you can use it in two directions, whichever is more comfortable for you to use. Like this, or like this. Used in this way, especially if you attach the wands directly, let me just show you what I mean. If you put the wand in directly like this, you can put the handle on the other end, and then if I find the dusting brush, then you can reach up higher. So that, in this configuration, that's ideal for doing the tops of your pelmets and higher shelves, etc. And of course you can put the other wand on, you don't just have to use one. So you can reach really quite high up the high ceilings, get the cobwebs in the corner of your room. We get one spare HEPA dust bag with James, very large capacity, very easy to get hold of. I always recommend buying the genuine article. Often they don't cost a lot more than these imitation ones, and they're a lot stronger. It's worth paying an extra few pounds for the genuine bags. And you can see they've got a closure, so when you remove the bag from James you can close off that flap to keep the dust in, and they've also got this seal around the opening to keep the bag fitted nice and tightly. So finally we can reveal James. Oops, very undignified, showing his bottom before we can see his face. And there you are, James, finally you're out of the box after nearly 2 years of being stuck in that garage. You can have a good look round. So here he is, this is James. James has an 8-litre capacity. The compact Henry and Hetties have a 6-litre capacity, and the standard sized Henry has a 9-litre capacity, although they all take the same size dust bag, all the same bags, but it just means there's slightly less room inside James's tummy. Almost said Henry. We cannot mistake James for Henry, apart from the fact he's got his name printed on his hat here. He's also this rather fetching blue, so if you don't like a red, you can go for a blue James. So instead of having the cable rewind that you normally see on a Henry or Hetty, we just have this configuration here where you just have to wrap it round manually. Some people might like that, less to go wrong, even more reliable than a standard Henry, because sometimes that mechanism can fail, but they're easy enough to repair. We do have a storage system. You see this hook here, we can rotate it, I believe, there we go, and release the cable. And because James is brand new, his cable's all tied up. Let's release that with a tape. Also, James has a quick to replace cable. So if the cable fails on James after a lot of use, if you get it caught in a door or just something happens to it and you need to replace it, you don't have to open up the body of James. You can just buy a complete replacement cable, and it's just a case of undoing 2 screws here, and then this end of the cable just unplugs, just like the plug end. You discard the broken cable, plug in a new one, and then do up those 2 screws. So that's handy. You'll see this little slot in the side of James. That's just, as you can see, it's for the cable. So when you're using James, the cable sticks out like that, but when you're winding the cable round, you just pull the cable through that clip, and then you can wrap the cable round the central part where the motor is located. And then when you wrap the cable round, you just have to move the clip, the cable hook. It's fixed at the front. It only goes one way, it doesn't swivel both, it just goes one way. So then the cable will wrap around. So yes, it's not quite as quick or easy as using the cable rewind mechanism, but as I said, this makes James a little bit lighter and a little bit cheaper than the standard Henry or Hetty or any of the other pneumatic cleaners that use the cable rewind storage. So there you go, it doesn't take too long. So the cable is stored neatly there. On the back we've got the familiar single speed switch which turns James on and off, and James has a 620 watt motor. We've also got here a mains on light, so as long as James is plugged in, that light will illuminate. At the back of James here, under the Numatic logo, we've got the exhaust vent, and here is the parking slot that enables you to park the main carpet and floor nozzle. So it keeps everything together. So if you've got a tool cupboard, James could be put away in the cupboard fully assembled with the hose and the pipes secured onto the back of him. We've also got tool storage. There's only 2 slots here. So we've got space for the crevice tool and say the all-purpose or upholstery nozzle. You can piggyback the other 2 tools though. So what I normally tend to do is put the adapter onto the upholstery nozzle. You can pop that back in there. And then if you want to, you can pop the dusting brush and just piggyback that on top of the crevice tool. So you've got all the small tools at hand ready for use. But if you find you're only using 2 of the main tools, for example, if you use the crevice tool and the dusting brush more, you can just use the storage for those 2, whatever you want to do. That's fine with James. He has 2 large wheels at the back with a nice rubber tyre and 2 swivel casters here at the front. Okay, let's open him up to expose James's dust bag. We've got 2 clips either side of his head. You simply pull those out and lift the motor unit off the main body. And there it is for any of you interested in what it looks like. That's the motor. And then under the motor we've got the filter. Always use James with the filter in place. If you don't, you're going to get reduced suction, because as you can see, the filter also forms part of the seal around the bin, so you need to have the filter in. And also it is possible to use James without a bag, but I wouldn't recommend it. If you're really desperate and you've run out of bags and you have to clean up, then yes, you could, but don't do it for long. Once you've used James bagless, then once you've purchased some new bags, clean out the bin, empty it, give it a wipe out, and you'll have to clean this filter. You'll have to tap it, brush it, or if you've got another vacuum cleaner, you can use another vacuum cleaner to clean the filter. This filter will get dirty very quickly if you don't use a dust bag. It's not worth it, folks. You know, don't go bagless with a pneumatic, whatever you do, but you can in theory. So here's the HEPA flow bag. Pull it off, close the little cover there, keep the dust in, discard the bag and fit a new one. And as I've said before in many other videos like this, I always like to tilt the cleaner up this way, so when you're removing the bag, you've no chance or less chance of spilling any dirt out. And then it goes with the writing face up. You'll see here at the top the bag support tube. You just push the bag collar firmly home, and that's it. That's simple. That's all you have to do maintenance wise really with James. This filter, as long as you're using the correct HEPA flow bags, this filter will stay pretty clean. You're not supposed to wash this. It does say do not wash. I know some people have washed them and they've been okay, but officially They are not washable. But as I said, providing you use the HEPA Flow bag, you'll have very little maintenance with a James cleaner. So if that's all you want from a vacuum, if you want powerful suction, low maintenance, a robust design, just a no-nonsense, no-fuss vacuum cleaner without all the bells and whistles, then James could be for you. And of course, he is made in the United Kingdom. There's not a lot of things you can say, especially electrical items, that are still made in the UK. Let's put James's nose on. Fits with a twist. All the tools, if you've got an older Henry or something, all the tools for that Henry should fit the James. And you can buy a multitude of different tools. You can look on myhenry.com and you see all the different tools available. One set I would recommend you consider is the Pro Kit, which consists of a dedicated hard floor nozzle, a wide turbo nozzle and a smaller turbo nozzle. So if you want James to clean up after pets, then I would certainly recommend that Pro Kit. Sometimes you get offers on myhenry.com where you get a free Pro Kit when you buy from them, and I believe Argos tend to do a half price Pro Kit when you buy any Numatic, Henry or Hetty. Not sure if they sell James, but yeah. But if you've got short pile carpets or a lot of hard floors and no pets, you might be fine with the standard toolkit. So we can take off the cable and we can switch on James for the first time. I hope he's not going to cause a fuss because he's been left in the garage for so long. Incidentally, James has a 10-metre cable, so that should clean even the largest of rooms before we have to find a new socket. Let's plug him in and switch him on for the first time. Possibly sounds a little bit different to a Henry, maybe a tad louder. Let's measure the suction. I don't think we're going to get any surprises with James. I think the sealed suction on this James will be the same as Henry or Hetty. James seemed to peak at around 82, which is a tiny bit higher than the standard measurement I get with these types of machines. Normally they're 80, but I don't think that tiny percentage higher is going to make any difference to the way James picks up the dirt from your carpets. James sounds like a fairly quiet vacuum cleaner to me, but I thought I would test his noise level using my decibel meter here. I'm going to hold this around 4 feet away from the main unit and we'll see what it measures. This will have to be under 80 decibels as per EU regulations, and even though the UK left the EU several years ago, we're still bound by the regulations they passed for vacuum cleaners. So I'll stand up and we'll see how noisy James is. So James peaked at around 70 decibels, which is way under the maximum EU limit. As you saw, the standard head supplied with many pneumatic cleaners doesn't like certain types of carpet, and it doesn't like my Saxony plush pile. A lot of vacuum cleaners I've tested on this channel do not like this carpet. It's fine on shorter pile, excellent on hard floors, but it's certain softer, medium pile carpets that vacuum cleaners struggle with. So you might have noticed I was having a bit of effort pushing the standard head with James on his maximum suction. I had to reduce the suction using the suction control on the handle to make it easier to push, but then it was skipping a bit across the pile. Let me show you again. So that's on maximum suction. And on reduced suction, it was still fairly hard to push, but the head was also skipping a bit across the carpet pile. Even on this short pile rug, I had to reduce the suction of James to make the nozzle easier to push. I can use James on maximum on this pile of carpet, but ironically the nozzle was skipping a bit on maximum suction and of course was harder to push. But on a larger short pile rug, or of course a short pile carpet, you should be able to use James on maximum without it being too difficult to push. And I'm going to try that on a short pile carpet upstairs later in the video. But as I've said earlier, if you're having trouble with your James, Henry or Hetty or any pneumatic cleaner, you can make it a lot easier for yourself by buying the Pro Kit. Here's one, I don't know how old this one is, I've got several. But with the Pro Kit, you get a lot of useful tools. You get the small aero brush, that's ideal for cleaning upholstery, stair carpeting, pet bedding inside the car. You also have the full-sized aero brush. That's mainly for your carpeted floors. You can clean hard floors with the aero brush if you don't want to swap the nozzles over, but it's mainly used for carpet cleaning. And we'll test that out on this rug and my medium pile Saxony. So that has revolving brushes, just like the smaller aero brush. And you also get a dedicated hard floor nozzle. This is better if you've got delicate wooden floors, or if you've got uneven floors, if you've got like quarry tiles, something that's a bit rougher, then you might find that this nozzle is better for hard floors than the nozzle, the carpet and hard floor nozzle that's supplied with your James. So yes, I would certainly recommend, if you buy a James, upgrade him with the Pro Kit, or if you've got an existing pneumatic machine that you're struggling with, then this is also a worthy upgrade. I've got some genuine dirt on my carpet here. I didn't vacuum yesterday, so this is a couple of days worth of dirt, and we're looking after 2 additional dogs, and one of them, the black one, Lottie, is shedding black hair everywhere, so we're having to brush her every day. In fact, I'm going to furminate her later and get loads of hair for future demonstration videos. So this is genuine dirt, I've not put any extra dirt down. It's a mixture of hairs, there's a few leaves and other bits and pieces they brought in from the garden. So I'm going to use James on his maximum suction. I do find often that using a vacuum cleaner the lengthways of the room as opposed to using it widthways, it tends to be a bit easier to push. So I'm going to use James, as I said, on maximum and see what we can remove of this dirt. couldn't even move the head forward on maximum. Quite easy to pull back, and you can see, well, it's left a bit of hair there, but it is pulling up the pile. So in some cases you're just going to have to use the nozzle in the reverse direction. I'll try again though with reduced suction. No, it doesn't like it either. So I'm just going to have to clean this area of carpet using the cleaner on the reverse stroke only. It seems the easiest way to use James on this particular carpet is in the reverse direction only, because it's very hard to push in forward even on minimum suction. As I said, it's only on this type of carpet. I'm going to take James upstairs in a minute and we'll try him on a much shorter pile. These cleaners are better on short pile carpets and hard floors than they are on longer and medium pile carpet. So it looks clean, it's restored the pile. Let's give it a rub and see if there's any hair that James hasn't managed to pick up. Well, to be fair, I was expecting to get a few black hairs revealed by rubbing the carpet, but no. Well, all in all, to be fair, it's left something there, but that's it's a bit of tape that was stuck. But all in all, actually, even on just the reverse pass, James seems to have certainly removed all the surface dirt and the dog hair. We can see a little bit of hair still clinging to the litter pickers on the underside of the nozzle, but after a few more passes that hair would have been sucked up into James's dust bag. Because of his shape, James isn't the most convenient cleaner to use on stairs, so I'm going to see how far we can reach up a standard flight of stairs just using the hose, curved wand and the upholstery/brush attachment. With James safely at the bottom of the stairs, you can easily clean 8 steps of a standard staircase. With the carpet and floor nozzle attached to the end of both wands, you can clean up to 11 steps. I've brought James upstairs to try him on a shorter pile carpet. This is the carpet that was fitted to our home when we moved in. It was a new build, and all the rooms apart from the living room have this quite low grade, low pile carpet. So I don't think I'm going to have any problems pushing the head on this low pile, but let's see. Again, I'm going to use him with the maximum suction. going to test James on a hard floor now, so just going to empty out a little bit of dirt. There we go, I think that'll be enough. Oh, let's do a bit more than that. James has a large capacity, he'll be able to cope. So I'm just going to use James on his maximum suction, using the standard supplied carpet and hard floor nozzle with the brush down. James is pretty successful at cleaning hard floors, although when there's a lot of dirt the nozzle does tend to snowplough, so you do have to tilt it back to remove the remaining debris. Cleaning front ways on isn't that successful either, but edge cleaning is pretty good using the supplied nozzle. Well, that's just about the end of my video on the Numatic James vacuum cleaner. If you want to check out the other pneumatic cleaners I featured on my channel, you'll find a playlist featuring dozens and dozens of smiley-faced vacuum cleaners. If you have any comments or questions about James, please comment below, and I'll see you all very soon for the next video. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.